one takeaway that you'd like to leave us with?
There are always positive impact which it is going to make, but at the same time, the fear of what will happen. We have seen two extremes. One extreme where people would say use of AI is bad, to something like you can use AI for almost anything and everything. So if you really look at last 10, 15 years, we had more than 2,500 startups, almost like 30 years back. AI was very, very prominent. In the second revolution, it has come up in a very, very big way.
But a lot of the concern is, are we late to the party? Today on AI Basics, we have someone who perfectly represents the bridge between engineering, innovation, and impact. Professor P.V.M. Rao from IIT Delhi. He's a professor of mechanical engineering, the head of the Assistive Technology Lab, and a leading force behind some of India's most meaningful design innovations. From low-cost prosthetics and mobility devices to inclusive tech that's changing lives. Today, we'll talk about everything from how AI is reshaping engineering education to the coolest devices that he has seen. Welcome to AI Basics. We're really excited to have you with us. This is one of the podcasts I've been really looking forward to doing. So thank you for honoring us with your presence. But one of the big problems today, you teach so many students. We've got now nanosecond attention span. So we always start with this question. What is that one takeaway that you'd like to leave us with as we enter this hyper AI age?
See, I think we did have many technology revolutions, whether it's computers, internet, or mobile, etc. And whenever the new technology has been introduced, there are always, the positive impact which it is going to make, but at the same time, the fear of what will happen, what the future is. So I think it's the same takeaway with AI, which we went through earlier.
So do you see now that leads to my second question, because that is really a lot of students look at this and say, okay, the job market right now, unclear what direction it is. So a lot of fear, or do you see a lot of excitement that, oh my God, there's so much more potential now with this technology?
I think the job market is definitely changing very rapidly, and I think it's going to probably change a large number of job profiles, and it will also create a new jobs for people who are involved in artificial intelligence, core development, etc. So I think it's actually best educational institutes and students, they actually align, you know, to this change which is happening in a rapid way. And I think the people who move with, technology, innovation, and the contemporary things which are happening are likely to do well and survive. So it's important for both students and educational institutes.
But tell us, so what tip would you give students and say, this is how you can align quickly? Is it by taking a course? Is it by studying on your own? Is it doing a project? What should these students really be focusing on right now?
So, in fact, we have already introduced in some of the courses which I teach, for example, an AI component. Just to give, for example, let's say if I give a students to solve a problem, let's say you want to select a new material for a product which you are trying to design, then there is a process of material selection for in any product design. We teach them, they go through. We also put something in their exercise that now that having come up with, let's say, a material which you have already selected for a product, would you like to go and verify what would probably one of the, AI chatbots would do it? And how does your solution basically aligns with them? What are the pros and cons? So that people know both the strengths and weaknesses of using AI in their teaching learning process.
So basically, you would recommend that just try to just integrate it into whatever you're doing, because
So we have seen two extremes. One extreme where people would say use of AI is banned to something like you can use AI for almost anything and everything. But I think what we need is a midway because you can't, you should be, I think current students should be trained about the strengths of AI and how to use them for, making, improving the quality of life. But at the same time, I think it should not be something where you are too dependent, where you become a slave and you become like somebody who is very dumb in your own thinking and critical thinking.
But do you find that because a lot of people are worried because you see so many students that over rely on AI, they're not using or they're not actually challenging their own thinking.
That's true. So what happens is ki maybe the realization may happen little later. So, but I think, the current generation students, as you mentioned in the beginning, has a very small attention span, and people want to accomplish things very quickly and want to basically achieve more in less time. So that way, there is a danger of complete relying on AI. But at some stage, I think the realization happens, I suppose. And I think as educators, we also, it's our important to bring that aspect in our classes, etc. For example, when the calculators came, people did not say, ki, hey, you don't learn the tables because now there are calculators.
No, that's so true. But now I also saw that beyond just technical skills, you write a lot about other skills that engineers especially need these days to get hired. I would love to know from you beyond these technical skills, what matters and what really gets people hired. Because people now need to differentiate themselves because everybody is using AI.
Yeah. So one thing is key. I would look at when we assess or when a company assesses people for recruitment, etc. One aspect which they are definitely looking at is key. What are the tools which you are aware of and you are competent to use. So when it comes to that, AI definitely falls into that. But that's not enough for somebody to make a good employee. So there are two other dimensions which are very important, apart from tools and knowledge which you have gained in a university or institute. Because ultimately there is a dimension which comes from your innate traits, who you
Mhm.
are. Uh, okay. Uh, because passion and resilience, etc., cannot be substituted by AI. It's a very inherent innate traits. And also there are some developable orientations, For example, once you are an employee, you have to work in team, and you should also have a non-conformist attitudes, etc. So these things probably are definitely required over and above what you said as skills related to AI and others.
Now, what about entrepreneurship? Because I know that your IIT Delhi has been producing the most amount of entrepreneurs. You did the post on it, and everyone is looking for the next big thing. Now, are you seeing that same trend still happening now with AI, or are you seeing a shift?
Few things are happening. One thing is that AI has actually opened for new type of ventures to be created, and we see many students and research graduates are actually looking at an unmet need or an unsolved problem, which probably AI can do better. So that those are opportunities for startups, which people are looking at, and also ours being a very technical institutes, uh, there is also a lot of research which is happening to advance the AI itself. For example, AI can do certain things today, but probably the research which is going on in AI can do many more things in future. So I think we also have that as an agenda for institutes and students. And also, I think if you really look at particularly the AI has also become kind of a global model for entrepreneurship. It's because you are actually trying to develop an AI-based application for somebody who is sitting in other parts of the world and collaborating. You don't have to really co-locate to address these issues.
No, but what's amazing is that 3% of the unicorns in recent times are from IIT Delhi. And I know that at least from the batch of 89, I've at least interviewed 4 or 5 startup founders, and they're doing incredibly well. So it's great to see that this trend is continuing.
Yeah. So we just actually kind of had a small documentation and compilation. So if you really look at last 10, 15 years, we had more than 2,500 startups. There may be more, at least this
Wow.
is what is there in our database. So I think it's also happening because there was a time when doing business was not very easy. It has improved, and also governments, both state and central governments, are pushing and giving more incentives for people to do startups, as well as for students to basically engage in startup ecosystem. There are many role models which are available now. So many people feel if our seniors can do, why not we?
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, sir, you yourself are big into assistive technology. And how is AI playing a role in this? And where is the innovation taking us here?
Very good question. Since I work in medical and assistive technologies, so assistive technologies are also going through a major change because of the recent boom in AI. In all assistive technologies, particularly which are used by people with disabilities, the common theme is you lose one sense organ. It may be vision, or it may be hearing, or it may be something else. But you substitute with another, basically a sensory substitution, which you do. So when you do a sensory substitution, it's all about data. So
Yeah.
you generate a large amount of data, and once you have that data, if you really want to make use of that data effectively and probably improve the experience of users in assistive technology, it's a very great opportunity. I'll just give a couple of
Oh, I
examples.
would love to hear
Uh,
because it's so exciting, this area.
for example, the people who are visually blind would basically use the white cane uh, to be mobile. So it's a very common practice all over the world that you use a white cane to find your obstacles in your path and navigate independently. Now, one of the problems which India has faced is that there are not many people who can train people with visual impairment and blindness in this training with the white cane. It's actually extremely low. Now, because of which either people end up learning use of a white cane very late, or they may use wrong practices to use it. So what AI is doing is a small sensor which is mounted on a white cane will actually guide you how to use. It can correct you, and it can actually help you, and it can completely substitute a trainer
Wow.
for you to basically use an assistive technology. And I think it's happening on almost every major area of assistive technology, because most of the assistive technologies rely on Internet of Things and sensors. So wherever you have IoT and sensors, the data is very critical. And once you have a data, then the data science and AI comes into picture in a very well way.
But this is one question that always comes up, sir, that, we all heard about data science, then machine learning, and now it was deep learning, and now AI. Are these all interlinked? Are they all part of the same value chain? Are they just subsets of it? Or is it just that, okay, this is the progression?
No, I think they it's a part of a development cycle, and they're also used in different situation. For example, one aspect is where I use a generative AI, where I already have a lot of data which is already available. Or I may use a very deep learning to basically address an AI problem where immediate data is not available. But as I acquire a data, I can actually do better and better with my algorithms. So you need all of them. And I think it's also interesting to note that almost like 30 years back, AI was very, very prominent.
Yes, it was. When we were graduating, actually, we were talking about AI. And at that point in time, it seemed like, wow, we were almost there.
Yeah. So we used to even learn some of the AI and expert systems to prepare ourselves. But I think suddenly it died down. And I think in the second revolution, it has come up in a very, very big way. Also, it's because now we have huge hardware infrastructure is available, and also the developments which have happened over 25, 30 years is helping or actually added AI as a very powerful tool.
Now, this question, sir, always comes up. Do I need to know coding anymore? Is it relevant? Because we talk about deep learning, we talk about machine learning, we talk about data science, all of that. But it's coding now. I think a lot of people are confused. Will all the code just be written by all of these tools?
To some extent, yes and no. So what happens is ki maybe I think it's happening with almost every application. For example, if I want to prepare a report, or let's say if I want to make a PowerPoint file, or let's say if I want to make a brochure, or if I want to write a program, I can always use AI as a first step. But usually that's not going to be an end. Then the human element is probably very, very essential and irreplaceable. So, in other words, it's actually helping you to do faster, cheaper, and better.
Definitely. I mean, I use AI all the time for my scripting, but I find that even after that, it takes me a good 2, 3 hours to get it according to my voice, the way that I would like
Yes.
it to
Yeah, you
sound.
won't completely rely on what AI has given at this stage. You
Yeah.
would definitely look at and bring your own human elements to it to do that.
Now, one of the things that we were talking about, sir, is how AI is blurring reality. It's really hard for us to figure out now what is real, what's fake. I mean, you shared a photo of, of your campus and it looked like it was drowning and boats were on the campus. But what will happen because you have got so much deep fake now? How do we look at this technology? Is India also setting up guardrails so that we can protect ourselves?
True. I think that's the dark side of an AI. But I think the when so many developments have happened in technology and software, we are not very far where this detecting, let's say, the fake aspects is difficult. So, because we went through a process where we used to have a virus and then the antivirus came. So, I would look at more similarly. So, the same analogy would hold. And it's also an opportunity for people to do further research for detecting what is actually real and what is fake. Uh, that's another, a
Huge
very good research
opportunities.
opportunity for computer scientists and even for others to do that.
Now let's shift gears. Let's talk about robotics because that's getting very, very exciting. Because they're saying the next wave after AI is the robotics wave. Now you hear a lot from China. You hear a little bit from the US just because Elon keeps bringing it up, not any other person, but so much that he's in the news. What about India? Where are we in this robotics cycle?
I think it's catching up. So the initial benefits of AI came mostly from the software and data side, but I think AI plus hardware is even much more bigger, I would say, uh, possibility to do many more things. So the robotics and AI is coming in a very big way. and we are already seeing many things which are happening. You said you are right that China has actually kind of taken very early lead, but there are programs across India where people are looking at robotics and AI. For example, IITs are working on looking at applications for defense which require robotics and AI. It's like looking at among the teammates in a war front. Can I also have a robo as another teammate? Or it's also coming up in rehabilitation robotics. Can I have probably robo serving as a nurse for me? So these things are slowly developing, and I think they are needed in a big way. And slowly we are also seeing that government is now investing in bigger R&D when it comes to these aspects.
That's great to see. Now, I want to talk about the core also because everybody is right now talking about chips. It seemed like we went through a whole software revolution. First, we started with hardware, we went to software, and now we're coming back to hardware because it's everybody wants to build a chip that's just optimized for AI or for their specific application. Is that a lot of work happening there too? Are you seeing a lot of interest now back in electrical engineering? Are you seeing students flocking to that area?
Yes. I think particularly, I think the success and some of the very early initiatives from NVIDIA, etc., has prompted many other countries and organizations to look at that seriously. So, because when you want to use AI for any given application to solve societal problem, you need both. One is you have a traditional CPUs which are very high performance to do the computations, but you also need AI on chip
Yeah.
for many applications. And I think that is an area where I think um, India probably has to catch up. We are not very big when it comes to other countries.
Yeah, no, this is a big, big area. I was just hearing today Jensen Wong talking that one GPU is $3 million. I said, whoa, that puts it in perspective for you. And then they are talking about buying millions of GPUs. So the size and scale of these processors is very, very big now. Now let's talk about India because this everybody talks about it. First, is AI a bubble? Is there a race for AI? And when you talk about the race for AI, you only talk about two countries. Is it the US and is it China? Where is India in all of this? I know the government is working, I know our institutes are working, but a lot of the concern is, are we late to the party?
Not really, because the number of unmet needs which can be addressed is still very large, and so we still have an opportunity to do that. And now I think government is also looking at not small projects but much larger, mission mode projects in AI. For example, Ministry of Education recently gave away much bigger funding in three areas: AI in healthcare, AI in agriculture, and AI in smart cities. These are like, 100x, 200x projects, which we usually of the size compared to the projects which we used to do. So I'm assuming definitely uh, some very good things will come out. Ministry of Education is only one, but there are others like Ministry of Communication and Electronics, MeitY, and Department of Science and Technology. Everybody is actually investing heavily in AI, and I think it's actually going to pay well in future. Yeah, you may say that we probably are not the best in the country as of now, but I think if you really look at the kind of social capital which we have, I think we can do much more.
No, but it's amazing because I think now, at least CBSC, they said from next year, the curriculum will start from grade three. You yourself just gave a huge lecture to what, 300,000 students, or how many were they?
Oh, it's not 300,000 students. It's actually 300,000 schools. There were
Wow.
almost 1 crore, almost 1 crore plus students.
That's amazing. So what was that? So are they also building in more virtual education as we're looking to scale out?
No, it's not virtual because this is a new initiative by Ministry of Education and Atal Innovation Mission to basically uh, sow the seeds of innovation among school students. There have been programs earlier, but not of this order. So it's called Vikshit Bharat Buildathon, and there are multiple themes under which students are actually building their innovations. And during the interaction, it also came up that there are many student teams who are already using AI to build, new systems to solve the problems and unmet needs. So school students are also now understand the power of AI, and I think it's a extremely good sign that such a large number of students are involved in building actually products and solutions and services.
No, but it's amazing if we can get so many. You're saying 300,000 schools, 1 crore students with an innovation mindset. I think, my God, it's going to be an amazing feat that we've accomplished.
True. Yeah.
Now, before I let you go, sir, a quick rapid fire round. So that means
Okay.
no thinking required. Quick, quick, quick. In nanosecond replies, I want. Now,
I'll try my best.
your favorite chatbot.
I think I use all of them. I use GPT, Gemini. In fact, I'm also quite impressed with DeepSeek.
Very nice. What's your biggest fear about AI?
The biggest fear is that as the new generation of students and young are embracing the AI, we also have to see the generation which actually lived without AI. How do we actually make them inclusive,
Yeah.
particularly when it comes to, let's say, elderly and others?
Yes.
Maybe current excitement is among the people who are young and children, but it has not still gone to our. We also have a huge elderly population who are still not convinced and excited about AI.
Very nice. Now, AI, more jobs or job replacement?
Some jobs will go away, and I think new jobs will be created. I'm assuming that probably it will even out at some stage. We may have a break even.
Now, coding or prompting, which skill is better to learn today?
Both. I think you should be prepared for both, actually. You can't say either or.
Now, today, would you trust AI to be your doctor for help?
See, I think the medical profession and the healthcare actually goes through a very strong regulatory system. Whether it's a drug diagnostic or a vaccine, we use only when it has gone through a serious regulatory, approvals, etc. I'm assuming that probably once we have AI doctor, those are the ones which are really validated, and I would still trust them.
Now, robots in Indian homes, is it 5 years away or 20 years away?
We can start seeing some of them from the 5 years. The numbers won't be very large, but I think as we move ahead, probably I think we 5 years is little optimistic. 20 years is definitely it's a good thing.
Now, AI in classrooms, should it be banned, regulated, or embraced?
I think it should be regulated, and definitely it should be embraced. One of the things is over relying on AI. Well, look, it's actually a obstacle for your own cognitive development. So if you want to be a better human being, going through the normal process of psychosocial evolution, that should not be cut off because of AI.
Well, sir, thank you. Now, is there anything else you felt that we left out or a point that you would like to emphasize before we end our chat?
No, I think firstly, thanks for this interview, and I think it's very timely, and I think we we are all excited about this new era where we live in. And probably as we move ahead, we'll see many more new things to come.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.